Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I have a special message for you guys. One in which I want to talk to you guys about how you're deciding right from wrong and how you are basically, deciding the course of your life in each and every one of your decisions. And I really want to emphasize this one to all of us who may have had experiences throughout our lives where our own intuitions on things, our own feelings or thoughts on things might not have really been validated. And basically what happens is time after time, maybe it began as children. Maybe we had an intuition or a feeling or an experience that got shut down and we were told, no, you're not allowed to feel that. And actually, the right thing to do here is, and it's differing to what you intuitively feel. This one's going to be a good one because as we progress through life and we have those continued experiences of having our own intuitions questioned or invalidated or judged as wrong and instead replaced with the quote unquote right thing to do, basically what happens is we become very indecisive people who do not trust ourselves. We no longer trust our own judgment because we've experienced and learned that it's not right? Our true feelings, our intuitions, what we feel to be the right thing to do is often judged as the wrong thing to do, not maybe so consciously or intentionally by the people that are closest to us. And, they're oftentimes very well intentioned about when they express this and the lessons that we need to learn about how to guide our lives in community and groups and the world and how we treat other people and how we expect to be treated and all of that great stuff. But at the end of the day, as we become adults and if we struggle with knowing right from wrong or sacrificing what's true for us for the purpose of trying to do what's right in the eyes of others or whatever's healthiest for us and doing so, this message is hopefully going to hit you where you need it, like me, and definitely support you in becoming your most empowered leader of your own life. So as you tune in, please do jump in the comment section and join me in the conversation. Share with me any of your questions or comments or words of wisdom. And if you do find value in today's message, please do share it. And I can't wait to connect in with you guys once I have my little rant and talk on this. And like I said, please contribute to the conversation. I want to hear from you guys. So anything that your thoughts are, anything that resonates with you, anything that doesn't, and what your perspective and experience is, I want to hear it. All right, so today we are talking about internal compass versus the collective compass. And basically why we're talking about this is it's how to evolve our sense of what is right. Now, as usual, I have a bit of a story to tell on this journey and what sparked this conversation for myself. But basically, I've had a lot of conversations more recently with people close to me about what's right, what the right thing to do is. And basically, we can get very caught up, right, in this, the right thing to do is this, right? And basically what we do as a result is we end up sacrificing, what's true and healthy for us at for the expense of what's right? So basically, one of the conversations that I had more recently was very, very interesting. I was kind of the third wheel in this conversation, just observing. And it was two people battling out as to one of them thought that, we have to go and do this right thing. And the other person in this battle basically was expressing, that actually isn't healthy. Why would I? So basically, one of the things that I'd helped navigate with people this week was how do you make a decision based on going and doing something with people that you don't really necessarily have a great relationship with. Maybe you've even got history in that relationship. Maybe it's not very healthy at all. And basically you've come to this place where you, like society might say, go and hang out with those people, go and do that thing. It's the right thing to do, right? And basically that's a lot of my initial reaction to situations like that comes to that, right? What's the right thing to do? Oh, we should go and do this. I don't really want to, but it's the right thing to do, right? And it was fascinating to me to have that kind of part of the conversation highlighted by one person. And then on the other side, this other person was saying, there ain't no way I'm going to go and do that, right? I'm not going to go and do the quote unquote right thing just because, somebody made up that it's the right thing to do, even though I don't feel good about that. And I actually know if I go and do that thing that I know I don't want to do, that is putting me and subjecting me to an experience with people that I don't resonate with, that aren't healthy for me, that actually are quite toxic for me, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to feel okay about that, because inside of myself, my own internal compass is much more valuable and listened to than whatever the collective compass is that would subject me to a toxic environment. All right. So you might have a similar experience in your own life. And, sometimes when we observe the challenges and conflicts of others, we actually get this kind of really great opportunity to question our own ways of being. This is the number one reason why I absolutely love group coaching. And of course, I love one-on-one coaching, but there's an added benefit of being in a group environment and watching somebody else get coached, because you get this less personal, therefore less likely to trigger your own defense mechanisms, opportunity to question your own reality, right? And that's kind of like I felt like I was having by witnessing this conversation, right? Two opposing perspectives on doing the right thing. One being driven by the collective compass that says, no, because this person is this or that, or maybe because they're family, you have to go and do this thing, right? That's the right thing to do, even if it's at the sacrifice of what's healthy for you. And the internal compass, represented by the other person on the other side of this conversation, was basically, going, you know what, I will do what is right, determined by what is healthiest for me and determined from my internal world, despite what other people might believe to be right or wrong. Okay. And it woke me up to some of the major growth opportunities available to me in my own life and some of the relational transitions I'm going through at the moment. And it alerted me and highlighted the fact that what had created a lot of relational tension for me in particular relationships was me trying to do the collective compass of doing what's right and sacrificing my own intuition, my own true experience, and invalidating myself so that I could do the right thing in the external world at the sacrifice of what was right for me internally. And I was so grateful to witness this conversation because it highlighted that pattern for me. And had I been in the one-on-one conversation with that, I might have been too defensive, too caught up in my own realm to actually see the bigger picture, right? And so taking that third perspective, and that's basically what all of these conversations are, that I hope to give you the value of, having a discussion about important topics that can allow you to question your own reality outside of a defensive moment, so that when you get into more challenging circumstances in your life, you've already vetted this, like you've already felt through it. Now you get an opportunity to actually test and put the theory into the practical, right? And so basically that's what happened for me. And it really did highlight this need within myself to continue that growth journey of my own internal compass. And the way you build the muscle to follow through and align with what is internally true for you is when it's in conflict with, the collective or the external ways of seeing what the right thing to do is. Now, of course, having this collective compass of the right and the wrong things to do is highly valuable in every society, right? Like there's a reason why we have laws. There's a reason why we, incarcerate people. There's a reason why we do all these different things, right? But the way I look at it is actually how I look at the realm of getting a credential in a certain area. Now, basically, I look at credentials only existing so that people who aren't willing to do the research can rely on face value, right? Somebody else has already done all this work, so I can just go and learn whatever they've learned, and then I get my credential. Now, I'm not knocking that. I think that that's absolutely valuable, right? But we shouldn't just rely on other people doing all the hard work. We actually need to do this for ourselves. And basically, having a collective compass that determines what right from wrong is basically really just a guiding post for you to develop your own internal compass. Just like getting some sort of credential, you can use other people's phenomenal work in the world to, build up, your own knowledge. But then it's about using that as just a guide to deepen your awareness, to deepen your knowledge, right? We are here to evolve humanity. You're not here to just, fall suit to what's happened in the past. You're here to grow and evolve. And the only way that you do that is, you can stand on the shoulders of the giants who came before you, and you can learn based on those collective ideals, based on those credentials and that deeper research. But now it's up to you. Now you've got to use that collective compass to help you to develop your own strength in your internal compass. And basically that's how we evolve societies, right? We all individually can lean up against the collective guides of the past and then utilize that as kind of a guide and a growth pathway to determine, well, is that really true for me? Does that feel right? Right? And basically we need to be able to each do that so that we can ideally eventually continue the evolution of our perspective of what is right from wrong. And if you look at all the, the biggest challenges that people have experienced in their life, the biggest, judgments and racisms and, sexism and all the rest of it, all those areas in which we've grown collectively have begun with a collective set of ideals, a collective compass, and then individuals starting to develop their own internal compasses and kind of pushing against that. And then enough of us being able to evolve ourselves that we start to see real change in the collective compass. So if you want to shift and evolve and have an impact in this world, yes, use the collective compass as the guiding post, but then use it to develop your own internal compass of right and wrong, having integrity, being your highest self. And hopefully enough of us are doing that to be able to make some serious change in our future. Remember, you're not here to stay small and repeat the same old patterns of the past. You're actually here to come into humanity and evolve it. So play your part and build your own internal compass, and make sure that in the day-to-day decisions of your life, you are absolutely not sacrificing what is true and healthy for you, because it ain't doing anyone any favors. All right, you're limiting the capacity for our evolution when you just play small and just sacrifice what is true, which is basically your growth opportunity, especially when it is in conflict with what other people or what the collective would say is right. So that's really my message for you guys today. I hope it just gets you thinking about where in your life right now you may be sacrificing your truth, sacrificing listening to that internal compass because of the collective, what's right, or what other people are going to think, or whatever it is, all right? So I hope that this has triggered some thoughts and some shifts in perspective that empower you, and I can't wait to hear from you and check in with you. So let me just check in with you guys right now and say hi. And like I said, if this message is of value, please do share it. That's such a gift that you can give to me to get into the minds and the hearts of other exceptional souls just like you. All right, so I have got Graham in the house, and Bill, always good to see you, my friend. And Jonathan, hello to you. And Javier from San Diego, good to have you back. And Jerry from Quebec City in Canada, now the bus terminal. Okay, awesome. Good to see you, Jerry. And AJ, hello to you, my friend. And Justin, love your work, Vanessa. You are a bright light. I so appreciate those kind words there, Justin. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me today. So grateful to have you here. And Philippe, much love to you. And Jose, yay, you made it. Hello, Vanessa. Based on the human natural moral, we can distinguish what is right or what is wrong. But to do the right thing has consequences like losing friends, family, or colleagues. The question is it is correct to do the right thing even if it's wrong, to avoid losing love, job opportunities, and massive number of friends? For example, I don't want to go out to drink today or hang out in toxic environments because I am caring for myself first. Oh, I love this so much, Jose. And we must be in sync because I just did a bunch of writing. I'm going to put a post, I've got a couple of posts that I've got coming out to you guys this week and diving into these exact topics that we're talking about today. So firstly, I want to say, Jose, I've been in that exact same experience where I made a shift in my own relationship with myself, and I had to navigate a transition which shifted how I was, what role I was playing in my relationship dynamics at the time. Basically, I was somebody who was working in the corporate arena, and I was just going out and partying all the time. And when I made a shift and an up leveling in my own health and relationship with myself, I just didn't want to drink anymore. I still wanted to go and have fun with friends and after work and whatever, but it was a challenge for me because I had actual people, feel quite threatened by the fact that I didn't want to drink alcohol anymore, right? That I wanted to look after my health, because when you make healthy transitions and shifts in your own life, it challenges the people around you to wake up to where you're kind of highlighting for them where they're not at your standard in terms of health, right? And so a lot of times people will create tension and conflict with you, or in my case, I had people taking me aside and, I'm so worried about you. Why wouldn't you want to drink anymore? Is there something seriously wrong here, right? And basically you have to be willing to do that. And the post that I'm going to put out for you guys is exactly what you're talking about here, Jose. This is what keeps us stuck in the collective compass at the sacrifice of our own internal compass, is the fear of what we think we're going to lose in terms of those connections. And basically what I would say to you is every single one of us must be willing to lose connections, opportunities, jobs, whatever it is that are out of alignment with what is true and healthiest for us if we ever hope to have a fulfilling life. Because the people who opt to follow the collective compass at the expense of their own internal truth because they fear the loss of the connections that they have, they actually don't realize that the only reason they fear the loss of the scraps of connection, the people and the circumstances that would keep you in a toxic environment, one that's not healthy and conducive to your ultimate growth, are basically people who aren't really creating a depth of connection with you, right? We oftentimes don't realize how asleep we have made ourselves to the quality of those connections. And just if you have fallen asleep to the quality and the depth of those connections, right, out of a form of survival, right? We go to sleep to things so that we don't have to wake up to our deepest fears of losing those things, only to realize it would be pretty healthy for us to lose those things because it would make way for really healthy, more empowering dynamics to enter our lives. The challenge is we get stuck in this fear of loneliness. We get stuck in this fear of being alone, going it alone, and we opt to stay stuck and sacrifice that internal voice and knowing, or stay asleep to it so that we can just settle for those scraps of connection out because we fear so much being alone. But the thing is, in order to transcend any fear, we actually have to move into it. We can't avoid it. We can't go to sleep to it. So what does that mean in that experience? It ultimately means that we have to be willing to go it alone in order to realize that that's not as bad as we think it is. And in actual fact, it gives us the opportunity to create the depth of connection that is missing, that we're starved of from inside, because we're not listening to the internal compass, and instead we're relying on the external world to provide the connection that we all need as human beings, but we're sacrificing our own connection to self, which means that we sacrifice what's true for us, what's healthy for us, and we bend and we mold ourselves for those external sources, not knowing that we're settling for scraps of surface level connection rather than the depths and the love that is available to us, and we can only access once we have the willingness to go it alone and not stay stuck in the fear and the avoidance of the fear of being alone, but in actual fact of the moving toward it. And I'm always saying to you guys, your greatest filter in your life is your authenticity. And how do we get connected to your authenticity? We get connected to the internal compass, and we start to trust our intuitions and align with those intuitions despite our fears. You've got to have courage, right? So I really hope that what I just shared there with you there, Jose, based on your amazing question and your shared experience, which I always appreciate, I hope it was of value to you, my friend. And Bill, I'm down for the evolution. Happy you're on my journey. I love it, Bill. So grateful to have you on my journey too. Awesome to have you here as usual. And Data, such an important message for many of us that have lived with strong influences of black and white thinking. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely, right? And this right and wrong, or this all or nothing mentality. You know, I'm still going through layers of that in my own life right now. In fact, I'm doing that in relationships right now. And I'm also doing that even in my health. Right now I'm going through a new health challenge, and basically it's taking me back to very strict roots that I moved away from a few years ago, and I'm finding some of those patterns have been coming back for me a little bit, like this all or nothing black and white approach. And then what happens is, when you're not listening to the internal compass and you're reliant on the collective compass, or whatever you're being told as a group that's not personified to you, basically you can end up sabotaging your own success because you're not listening to yourself. And what happens is that internal self, that inner child, if you don't listen to it, it ends up playing out and acting out, and it will not align with the adult self determining the course of your life. So that's where our self-sabotage comes in. And so true there, Data. You know, we end up, you know, questioning our own intuitions and not being able to decide for ourselves. And that's why we have that external and internal kind of conflict. So we want to make sure that if a sacrifice must be made, it's to the collective and never to the internal compass. All right. And that takes some time to build and trust yourself and have the courage to, you know, back your decisions and your intuitions, particularly if you've come from those environments and those influences like Data's mentioning, you know, that were very black and white and very right and wrong. And, you know, might even be a religious context or any other variety of strong belief system. So absolutely love it. Love having you here. And Jerry, in our uniqueness, we should do what is in harmony with our inner feelings and ambitions. I love it, Jerry. Absolutely, my friend. And Samuel, I've always picked small. I've always played small. My caregivers made me think being poor or kind was a saintly way, so I used to think materialistic acquisitions were selfish and less than. I'm learning that I can give more if I have more. Oh, Samuel, I love this. Absolutely. That's such a fantastic example that so many of us can relate to, you know, like the rights and the wrongs of the collective compass. And then oftentimes we have to learn the hard way, right? We have to learn that, you know, in that experience, a lot of people end up poor and then they can't even, you know, develop themselves. They can't be at their highest capacity to serve others. And like you're saying, you know, they don't have anything to give, right? And they have to experience the pain of living to the collective, unquestioned compass in order to finally start to go, you know what? I don't think this is all that as it's cracked up to be. And maybe there is another way. And let me start the journey of really discovering what that is and building that voice from within that will allow me to align with what is healthiest. And that sometimes means that we've been so far on one side, we actually have to develop the other, right? So that we can bring ourselves back into balance. Life is a set of polarities. And where you suffer and struggle in your life is when you've got this one-sided polarity. You need to discover where you are suffering, where the imbalance is, decide what's on the opposite side that is being left underdeveloped. We have to develop that so that we can get into balance, all right? So love that, Samuel. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your experiences here. You are so appreciated, my friend, and grateful for the journey that you're on. And awesome. So Paul, I started to turn my life around and started training for an Ironman. My wife couldn't take it and left me. Paul, oh my gosh. I so feel for you, my friend. Like that is such a big part of the journey, right? We all fear losing the people closest to us, and that's why we stay stuck and stay small. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, the quality of our relationships comes down to the selection process. And if we selected somebody when we were a sacrificing person, the scary part is if that person isn't willing to grow with us, we might very well lose them down the track if we decide to start stepping up in our own lives and growing, and they're threatened by that. And, you know, hats off to you for the journey that you're on and having the courage to do things that are healthy for you, and never, ever, ever let the insecurities of others be the guiding post of your decisions. All right. So I feel for you, Paul. Thank you for representing, you know, taking a stance in your life to up level it, and, you know, showing that on the other side, you don't die. And oftentimes I've had people in my own life who have left me, right, at those times where I've up leveled. Some of them never to be seen again, and others who actually end up coming on that growth journey and, you know, becoming more of a leader in their own life and dealing with their own insecurities and growing and developing from them, so that we don't limit each other, right? We end up expanding and inspiring one another. So I love that share. Thank you so much for being here, Paul, and sharing that with us. And Graham, great to catch you live, Vanessa, and you've hit the nail on the head in this one. I always find your messages enlightening, so thank you. I'm so grateful to hear that, Graham. Thank you so much for letting me know, and always grateful to see you joining me live, my friend. And Jose, thank you, Internal Compass. Yes, that's the secret clue, and yes, I made it. I love it. Awesome, Jose. Good to have you here. And awesome. And Philip from Canada, good to see you, my friend. And Simon, balance, you got it. And Judy's here as well. So that is my message to each and every one of you guys today. I really hope that it resonated with you. Just keep this in mind this week, right? Am I being guided by my internal compass or the collective compass? What is right to me, right? And particularly when there's a conflict between what you know other people think is right versus what you feel to be right. Start trusting in yourself. Start validating your own experience. Start listening. And then start aligning your actions just incrementally with what you know to be right within, okay? If you don't have an internal compass, you're not going to guide your own life. You're going to guide some weird, wacky life based on some collective ideals that aren't actually true for you at all. And that's exactly why you guys must be so sick of me saying the number one regret of the dying is I wish I had have had the courage to live a life true to myself rather than one I felt was expected of me. There's a reason why the majority of people at the end of their lives have that number one regret. Don't end up in a collective regret, right? Learn from the mistakes of the past, right? The people who've come before us, and then use it as a guiding post to grow and evolve to the next level of your potential, which ultimately collectively stacks up to the collective growth of humanity. All right, we've all got a part to play. And Wildon, hello to you from Peru. Great to have you. I hope you guys who are just tuning in now do catch a recording, get a ton of value from today's message, and don't leave without me reminding you to say to honor your authenticity. To deepen your intimacy and to contribute your gifts meaningfully and purposefully. All right, that's my message for each and every one of you. And thank you so much to everybody who was able to join me live today. You are so appreciated. I love your words of wisdom, your experiences, your questions. You are all so appreciated for the co-creative space that we have here. And like I said, please do share this message if it is of value. Oh, and I forgot again. I keep forgetting to link you guys. But I'm going to be creating a free mini series to help you navigate and transform conflict into connection in any of your relationships. I want to stock your tool belt with an amazing tool that you can utilize for life whenever you're running into any conflict, whether it be in an intimate partnership, friendship, family relationship, professional relationship, whatever it is. If you have this tool that I want to deliver in a 3-part mini series for you, then basically you are going to be really empowered to shift the dynamics consciously and to create fulfillment in every one of your relationships, particularly the one you have with yourself. So if you haven't yet signed up for that, I will put a link. It's a free course that I'm doing for you guys that I will be creating, but I need you to get on the list so that you will get notified as soon as it is available. All right, so I'll put that link in the comments later on. And so much love for each and every one of you guys, and I will be seeing you all very soon. Data, you are such a superstar. Data is actually just to put the link in the description for you. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys very soon.